Hi everybody, welcome to Measurable. Today we'll be going through the platform to show you the ins and outs of the system and ensure that you will all leave this webinar as Measurable Masters. So, first things first, when you log into the system, this is the page that you'll be taken to, which is the data page. Some of you might have one site, some of you might have 5 sites, some of you might have 10, but this is the initial page that you'll see upon login. The first thing you'll want to do is adjust your profile settings. This is done in the top right hand corner where there's a drop down menu under your name. If you click on that, it'll take you to a link, My Profile, and take you to your profile page. Here you can set your preferences. And to do that, you can set preferences for measurements, so whether you want to use imperial units or metric units, you can choose. And you can adjust your currency. So say you wanted to use the pound, you would be able to click that right there. Once you've set your preferences, you're going to go ahead and click the green check mark. For the purposes of this demo, I won't do that today, but when you set it yourself, you'll need to check that to make sure that it saves. This is important because when you're using the rest of the app, your user preferences will dictate which units you see your data in, as well as what currency you see the spend in. Alright, so that's the user profile. Once you're done with that, you can simply click back to the data page. The data page is a high-level overview of all the buildings that you're in charge of. As you can see, it's in a table format, which is completely customizable. So, if you wanted to see the country or address associated with your site, you'd be able to click those columns along with many other pieces of information. Once you've adjusted it to your liking, you can even export this as a CSV file in case you wanted to pass it around. Alright, let's hop into a site. So, when you click into your site, you'll be taken to the site dashboard. This is a high-level snapshot of everything that's happening at your building. As you can see, there are a bunch of different widgets that tell you things about your building. As you scroll down, you can see snapshots of year-over-year usage as well as spend. And conveniently, you can export this as a report. So say your building owner wants you to provide a report of everything that's been happening at your site. What you can do is just go ahead and click Export Report. It'll download everything that you see into a PDF file, which you can then shoot off in an email to whoever's requesting. The site dashboard is also customizable, which you can adjust by clicking on the widgets bar and checking or unchecking the different features that you would like to see. Next, let's hop into site trends. The trends page is the part of the app where you can visualize your site's data. As you can see here, we're currently looking at electric usage over the course of 2017, 2016, and 2015. You can adjust the metric you want to see, whether it's electric, fuel, district, or water. And you can even add secondary lines such as weather normalization or occupancy normalization. You can view this as a graph. And you can also view this as a list. But this is a good spot to look at your site's trends and identify any possible anomalies or outliers in the data. To get a more granular view of your site's data, we also have the Utilities tab. This is where you're going to be able to look at your site's data on a meter level. As you can see, when you click into the Utilities tab, you're taken to the energy utilities. So, what we can look at from here are the electric meters, the fuel meters, district, any on-site renewable. You can also click into the water to see your water meters, as well as waste. to see any type of recycle or disposal compost that you're currently tracking at your site. Entering utility data into Measurable is quite simple to use. As you can see, this site already has 3 electric meters, but to add one more is very easy to do. All you have to do is click on this green plus button, and you'll notice that within Measurable, anytime you see a green plus button, you're going to be able to add information. So let's go ahead and click on electric meter. When you add this meter, it'll ask you to fill out certain fields, such as the name of the meter. So let's say we're trying to track our common area information. The type of meter, which is just going to be electric in this case. The units. Now, it's extremely important that you enter the correct units, because if the units that you've entered here don't align with the units that appear on the bill, there's going to be a discrepancy in the data and you won't be capturing the correct information. So most commonly for electric we see kilowatt hours. What I would do is go ahead and save this meter, and then it'll allow me to add readings. Again, you would go to the green plus button, which when you hover over it says add meter reading. Click on that, and then you're able to enter the period. So let's say we're entering September's usage. You would enter the usage. You would enter the spend. And then if you have demand information and you're tracking that, you can also input that as well. You would go ahead and hit save, and that would appear under meter readings for this meter. Let's head back out to the utilities page. As you can see in the top right hand corner, there's a small drop down menu with the word serving next to it. What is this asking? This is asking where in your building your meters are serving. So for some sites, you'll see that you have one main meter and that electricity or water is serving the whole site. So if that's the case, you would choose whole site as the area serving. You'll notice when that's clicked, all the area serving for the meters appears as whole site. If the meters that you're working with serve specific spaces, such as common area or tenant spaces, you would go ahead and click that option. And anytime you change this, it's going to ask you to confirm and save. I would hit that green check mark. And you'll notice that the area serving changes. So for the common area meter that I just set up, I can establish that this is serving the common areas. If I were to set up a meter that is linked to a specific tenant space, I can also choose that as the option in the meter details. So as you can see, we have the option to choose a tenant space paid by landlord as well as a tenant space paid by tenant. So you would go ahead and click that. Again, you would save, and that is where the meter is now allocated to. These are small details, but at the end of the day, they're extremely important to confirm accuracy and confirm where the data is actually coming from. So that's how you create a new meter and enter a new meter reading. And it's the same process for electric, fuel, district, water, and waste. It's all the same process. Next, let's review how to add non-utility data, such as projects, audits, certifications, and ratings. Again, you can navigate to different parts of your building on this left-hand menu. As you can see, there's the Projects and Audits tab. And we already have a project and audit here, but if you were to enter a new one, you could simply go to the green plus button that says Add Project, and that would create a pop-up. So what type of projects should you be adding? These should be sustainability related projects. Things like LED lighting retrofits, HVAC retrofits, improved water fixtures, things of that sort that are improving the efficiency and hopefully reducing usage for any one of those metrics. I know this looks like a lot, but let's see what fields are actually required. Let's pretend we're doing an LED lighting retrofit. We're going to need not just the project name, but the type. In this case, we would be working with installation of high efficiency equipment and appliances, which subsequently asks us to provide a subtype, which would fall under lighting. And we also need to specify the scope. So let's say that we did this retrofit for the common areas in our site. The rest of the information is optional, but the more information you can provide, the better. It gives everybody more insight into the wonderful work that you're performing at your site and is a great place to keep track of projects and project specifics. What's going to be important as well is choosing the approval status. So if you had a project that was pending and hasn't yet been approved, you could leave it as that. If your project has been approved, maybe it's something that's already even been completed, you would click the approved status, enter the approval date. Let's say this got approved on January of 2016. And then you can also add a commenced and completed date. So let's say we completed this project in April of 2016. You would go ahead and hit save. Again, I won't for the purposes of this demo, but again, that would appear in the project section and all the information you entered would appear. That was pretty simple, and it's the same process for adding an audit. You'd go to the green plus button to add an audit. You would enter basic details such as the measure, the type, the scope, and as with all audits, there's a paper trail associated with it, so you'll be required to add related documents. Go ahead and hit save, and that will appear here in the audits portion. The benefit of adding all the projects and any sort of assessments that have been completed at your site, again, is that it gives visibility into all the great work that you're doing to keep your site sustainable. Alright, next let's hop into certifications and ratings. Again, this is on the left-hand menu. And as you can see, this is where you're going to be able to provide insight into your site's accolades. As you can see, this site currently has a LEED certification, but we can add more. Again, to do so, you would click on the green plus button, and you'll see that we have a list of all different types of accolades. These are geared mainly towards buildings that exist in the United States. So if you don't see the accolade that you're looking for here, you can add a custom certification or a custom rating down here at the bottom of this pop-up. So let's see what happens. Wow, that looks like a lot of information. But again, there are only a few required fields. So let's see what those are. You're definitely going to have to input a scheme name. You're going to want to provide the certifying body, the certification period, whether this was pre-operational or when the building was up and running, the country where this certificate was awarded, and lastly, whether this was in-house or not. The rest of the information here, if you have it, great. If not, that's fine. You would go ahead and hit save, and then you would see your certification appear. Again, Measurable's platform is extremely intuitive and will let you know if you're missing information that is required. So that's how you enter certifications and ratings. Let's head back out to the dashboard. What we've reviewed on a site level is, number one, how to look at your dashboard and customize the different widgets that you want to see. Again, you can export this as a report. We discussed the Trends tab and how you can use those graphs to determine any anomalies in your data. We looked at utilities, which is a more granular view of your data. It actually takes you down to the meter level, and this is where you're going to add manual information. And we also took a look at non-utility data, such as projects and audits, certifications and ratings, that, again, all contribute to your site and the wonderful things that you're doing at it. Another benefit of Measurable's platform is its robust data quality. Our software is constantly looking for outliers, inconsistencies, anomalies in the data to ensure that the data that's being entered is correct. You might get a data quality alert, and how do you handle that? You'll probably see that data quality alert in your notifications. As you can see here, the first one that we see is a data quality alert for 2500 Belmont. If you go ahead and click on that, it's going to take you to that site's trends page so that you can visualize in the data where that outlier or alert is coming from. As you can see here, we're looking at increased consumption with lowered cost. So that should raise a red flag. This is going to appear in the data quality alerts section of that specific site, which you can access on the left-hand menu. And when you click into that, you'll see that there's a place where you can enter notes. So from here, one of two things is going to happen. One, you're going to go into your Utilities tab and notice that maybe the data had been entered incorrectly. Possibly you entered an extra 0 or what have you. If you do that and you fix it, then this data quality alert should disappear overnight. If you know that the data was entered correctly and you double check that, then there's usually a reason associated with a data quality alert being flagged. If you know this, you can go ahead and input that reason into the notes section of this data quality alert. What does this do? One, it confirms that the data that you've entered is correct, and two, it provides an explanation for why this anomaly exists. By providing an explanation, you're able to help your building owner see why there may have been increased or decreased usage for a certain month. And that helps them gain insight into what's going on in your site and know that you're on top of your data entry, you're entering it correctly, but that there was a legitimate reason that it just so happened to cause a data quality alert. You would just go and hit save, and that would save to this portion of the data quality alert. And that's how you take care of data quality alerts. And that's how you use Measurable. If you ever have any questions about our product or need extra support, go ahead and email support@measurable.com. Thanks for your time today.